People seem to be forgetting how good of a player Matthijs de Ligt is. United are linked with him for a reason. He's played for Bayern Munich, he's played for Juventus, he's played for Ajax and captained Ajax, all by the age of 24. This isn't normal for a centre-back. We seem to have got used to him being around Europe. We seem to have got a fatigue around Matthijs de Ligt. He is still one of the best young centre-backs in the world, and there's a lot of reasons Manchester United want to sign him. We're going to go through those reasons and work out exactly why he would be the perfect signing for Manchester United in that right centre-back position. This comes off the back of United signing Leny Yoro. United need to make further reinforcements, and Matthijs de Ligt could be the perfect man to do it. Now let's start off with a bit of history. This is a guy that knows Erik ten Hag. You can see there together at Ajax, where he was the captain at just 18 years old. That doesn't happen for centre-backs. We've just signed Leny Yoro, one of the most highly regarded, potentially the most highly regarded centre-back teenager in the world, and he's played, I believe, 60 games in his career. De Ligt was playing in a Champions League semi-final as captain of Ajax by the age of 19. He's doing things that very few centre-backs have ever done as a teenager. There's a reason he was considered one of the best centre-backs in the world. There's a reason he won the Copa Trophy in 2019, which alongside the Ballon d'Or gives the best teenage footballer of the year in the world their credit. You can see here Erik ten Hag speaking around that time in 2019, saying, "I do not know if Matthijs de Ligt has shown 60 to 80% of his potential, but we are talking about one of the best defenders in Europe, and I have no doubt that he will soon be number one in his position." He had such an incredible start to his career that people almost think he's dropped off, that he's not a great player, or that he hasn't fulfilled his potential. He's still only 24 years old. This is a very, very young footballer, and especially for centre-backs. Look at Jared Branthwaite. He's this young, inexperienced centre-back. He's only 2 years younger than de Ligt. And de Ligt is one of the most experienced centre-backs in all of Europe. You see they're playing alongside Harry Kane this season. Bayern Munich fans don't want to let this guy go, and we're going to go through exactly why they don't. Now, a big thing about de Ligt that he's always been known for, alongside his physicality, his aerial ability, is his ability to play out from the back. That is sort of what you come to expect from an Ajax graduate, but for a guy of his size and stature, you see him there, he's not a slender, on-the-ball kind of Lisandro Martinez type. He's 6'2", he's broad, he's physical. He has a 93% pass accuracy, which is obviously sensational. And if you look as well, it's not just sideways and backwards. His progressive passes put him in the top 10% of progressive passes made per 90 across centre-backs in Europe's top 5 leagues. He is someone that, for his position, is fantastic on the ball. Another thing as well, Andre Onana. Now, they never played together at Ajax, but we know the abilities of Andre Onana, who would be playing in behind de Ligt. We know that passing ability, the ability for then de Ligt to receive the ball, would be a very, very frightening combination indeed. He's in the top 20% of centre-backs for passes attempted in the last 12 months. He's also got 13 career assists from centre-back, which is a very, very sort of underrated part of his game. That's because of those progressive passes. He can see the lines and break those lines, especially with runners in behind. You think of Joshua Zirkzee, Rasmus Højlund, Marcus Rashford in particular loves playing runs in behind. And you've got someone who's that good on the ball, they can do that. He's also someone that likes to carry the ball forward. He doesn't just get the ball, panic, and then sort of play it off no matter what. He averages 6 ball carries per 90 into the final third, which into the final third, he's a centre-back. That's not out of his own third. That is into the opposition's final third, which is an exceptional rate for a player in his position. It shows that he likes to play that high line. He's comfortable there, even though he's someone who's seen maybe is not the quickest, maybe he's not the most athletic player. If your player and your centre-back is getting into the final third with the ball at their feet, that suggests a very much a comfortable player playing into the final third and playing with a very, very high line. That's a very good sign for Manchester United. Now, another area that I want to move on to is how good he is in the air, which you look at someone like Harry Maguire, who has been one of the best players in the air in the Premier League over the last few years. Now, I sort of emphasise in the air because I know people don't love to give credit to Harry Maguire, but you can't deny he's a fantastic defensive header of the ball. And if we're losing him and he's coming out the starting lineup and you have a Lisandro Martinez playing pretty much every week, you can be as good as you want in the air. If you're 5'9", there are times where a taller, stronger man will beat you in the air. That's where Matthijs de Ligt comes in. He's a very big guy, 6'2", like we said before, but also he scored 34 goals in his career. according to Transfer Market, and 2/3 of those have been headers. So he's someone that is not just dominant defensively in the air, he's dominant offensively as well. He averages 2.47 aerial duels won per 90, and that puts him in the top 28% as well. He's a very, very good header of the ball. Now, if you look at Manchester United's sort of centre-back roster, as people say, the lineup, you've got Lisandro Martinez, of course, who is good in the air for his height, but like I said, occasionally he's going to get beaten by someone who's just, physically has an advantage over him. You then look at Harry Maguire, who's one of the best centre-backs, defensively at least, in the air, in the world. Just look at the numbers if you don't believe me. Then you've got Lenny Yoro, who's someone who is improving in that area, but he's 6'3", who is also very, very good at the attempts that he makes. He wins a lot of them. Then you add De Ligt. It's almost like we're covering all of our bases. You've got the insane world-class ball-playing ability of Lisandro Martinez, literally one of the best centre-backs in the world with the ball at his feet. Then you've got Lenny Yoro, who's got the composure, the calmness that there's a reason why people compare him to Varane. He's got a time on the ball that you don't usually see for an 18-year-old. Then you kind of bridge that gap a bit more. You're taking another step towards maybe Harry Maguire, where, yes, he's very good on the ball, De Ligt, but he's a little bit more dominant than the previous two players I mentioned in the air. Then you've almost got the all-out, right, we need a sort of tank in defence to go up against a Haaland, or maybe even someone a little bit taller, physical and a bit slower. You've got Harry Maguire in there as well for a team that's going to be pumping crosses in. United are sort of building this centre-back partnerships from Lisandro Martinez to Harry Maguire, with increasing levels of physicality and size and strength depending on the opposition that we're playing against. To me, this makes a lot of sense. They're all good on the ball. I mean, Maguire slightly less so, but De Ligt, Yoro and Martinez all very good on the ball, but they have these sort of complementary physical traits where you can pick and choose depending on exactly who you're playing up against. One thing for me that would be very sad next season is if we see Lenny Yoro start 55 games for Man United, because that would mean we haven't got a good enough rotational piece on that side of the defence. That's another reason why De Ligt is so important. We need a player who can be there, who can be a leader in the defence, like he was at Ajax, to help Lenny Yoro come through alongside Lisandro Martinez. This, for me, is crucial. United can't just have two centre-backs that we like and hope that they don't get injured. You need 4 top centre-backs. Maybe you don't want to call Harry Maguire a top centre-back, but he can certainly do a job in the Premier League if the other guys need a rest or are injured. A final thing that De Ligt is fantastic at is being a sweeper. Now, this isn't always necessary in the modern game. You want to see people high up, high press, even past the halfway line at times, the real high pressing sides. You can be, obviously staying onside behind them, but they will push up into the opposition half to really squeeze. And when I say sweeper, I don't mean someone who necessarily drops 10, 15 yards deeper of their defence, but I mean someone who will be the reactive centre-back when the balls come over the top. If the balls get played out into the wings, over the likes of Dalot, let's say he's pushed up, De Ligt is very, very good at covering those lines and dropping off quickly to match the runs of wingers. You can see there him tackling Kylian Mbappe. That's something he's very good at. He comes out wide and he covers those lines in a way that sometimes we've seen centre-backs maybe either don't have the physicality, don't have the pace anymore, don't have the energy, or just don't have the ability to read the game to cover those wide areas. That's something De Ligt is very good at. He's used to playing in sides where his fullbacks are bombing on and he has to cover those areas, and he can drop back at the right times because he reads the game so well. He said about his own game, I want to feel confident, I want to feel dominant, I want to feel that my teammates trust me and that the opposition striker says, oh no, today I have to play against Matthijs de Ligt. That will be a tough game. He said that, as you can see reported by The Athletic there last year. He's someone who thinks about himself and thinks about what his game is and how he can impose himself on his own team, but the opposition as well, like we've seen there. Again, these are all traits of a leader. For a person who's 24, he's got an immense head on his shoulders. And I think we underestimate that sometimes. We've seen, attitude problems with the Manchester United players. People getting their head down, questioning the effort. How many times have we questioned the effort of large swathes of the United squad over the last 4 or 5 years? It's constant. Every other season, when we finish outside the top 4, everyone gets their head down and we start losing the dressing room. I feel like Matthijs de Ligt is the sort of player that won't let that happen. Do you remember when Zlatan was here? And you could see him going round at times, picking people up, picking up Paul Pogba, Jesse Lingard, Erik Bailly, people who Zlatan Ibrahimovic didn't know until he joined Manchester United, but you immediately come in and bring a charisma and an energy. And maybe, De Ligt isn't the same scale as Zlatan Ibrahimovic, but he knows what it takes to be in a winning dressing room. He's won the league at every club he's been at, and he's been a leader at every club he's been at. The Bayern Munich fans don't want him to go. I think there was 60,000 fans signed a petition to keep him at Bayern Munich. And if United do sign him, to me, that is a very, very good sign, because it's not just about what you do between the first and the 90th minute. It's what happens in training. It's how the team conducts itself in meetings, after the game, in the press. These things create a snowball effect. People like to think that it's just, what did the manager say? And then the players follow it like robots, and then we go home if we won or lost. Building momentum within a camp, building happiness, harmony, a different mentality. These things matter on the pitch. So yeah, De Ligt might not play every single week, but I also think that what he brings in terms of his experience and his leadership abilities are going to be helping what is a younger and younger squad at Manchester United during this rebuild. Right, that is going to be all from us. Let us know your thoughts on Matthijs de Ligt. Some people are acting as like he's some washed up centre-back who never reached his potential. To me, I look at a player who is very, very young, and maybe he's gone from Ajax to Juve to Bayern. Maybe he needs somewhere where he can settle down and actually build a legacy. He's sort of darted around the top teams in Europe. He ain't playing for small teams here. He's playing for some of the biggest teams in Europe. And Manchester United is another one of those where he can hopefully settle down, become a mainstay, and actually build himself into the sort of legendary figure that it looked like he was going to be all of those years ago. Thank you very much for joining us. Let me know your thoughts on Matthijs de Ligt in the comments, and we'll see you in a bit.